All right, welcome to lesson 27 of year 3 of the high school science class. And today we are going to talk about fruits. Okay, so Sydney says that she was also sick. Okay, Monday and Tuesday, and she's better now. That's good. All right, well, somehow we'll manage. That's right, Anna. Thank you very much. So, I apologize for the extra noises here. Um, Now, in this lesson today, we are going to talk about fruit and how the last lesson we were learning about pollination and how the plant develops, gets fertilized, okay, by the process of pollination, okay? And so in pollination, you have that basically the pollen that is from the male stamens of the flower fall onto the pistil, which is the female part of the flower, and they pollinate, and so the pollen goes into the ovary of the plant, and that starts the process of pollination. Okay, the lesson has a very beautiful video here that shows how the pear plant does that, and so we see here the different parts of the flower of the pear. All right, so let's see if we can identify things here. So, oh, Patrick is asking if it's viral or bacterial sickness. All right. I think that mine is viral. Okay. So I cannot take antibiotics. It is just a matter of letting the body recognize the enemy and try to fight it out that way. Okay. So as far as I know, this is a viral infection, what I have. Okay, so no antibiotics for me. You remember that unit. Good job, Patrick, there. Excellent. Okay, so let's try to talk a little bit about here the different parts of the flower, all right, and what are they? What are these parts, the white parts of the flower? Patrick says, for my experiment with dissecting a flower, I did an orchid and it was hard to tell all of the parts. Yeah, many times it's hard to tell the parts. Anna says, these are the petals, yes. So these are the easiest to recognize of the parts of the flower, the petals, and usually they are colorful, okay. What are these parts here, okay, that they are kind of greenish. The septals. All right, excellent. So these are basically like pseudo leaves, all right, that encapsulate the flower, and then as the flower open, they let the petals out. Petals are also adapted leaves. Okay, remember they are kind of an adaptation of leaves. All right. What are these parts that have in this flower? They have kind of a white stem and then this black dot on top. What are those parts? If you want me to open the mics to anyone to talk, that would be great. Okay. Or you can type in the message board, in the chat board, or the question board. What are these parts? So there's lots of them. Okay. Natasha says, I haven't seen them before. So Patrick says, are they the stamens? That's right. So these are the stamens. So let me go. Okay. Not to that. Hold on. Hold on a second. So those are the stamens. That is the male portion of the flower. Okay. So let's go to here, flowering plants. Okay. And let's see, flowers. Let's just search the article of flower. So here we have the little. Okay, so those parts that we were seeing there are the stamens, these here, okay, the filament, and then the stamen is the top, all right, and the stamens are the part of the plant that have what in them? What do they have? What do the stamens have inside? Anyone? Hello? So what do the stamens have in some? Microsporangium. Sydney says the microsporangium, that's right, and that is also called the pollen, okay? I saw on Sunday my bishop he's a chemical engineer, and he has in his house a SEM microscope, you know, one of those scanning electron microscopes, and he took some pictures of petals of flowers and then of pollen grains, and they were just amazing. Sydney says, I hate pollen. Some people are very allergic to pollen, so that's why probably he hates the pollen. So let's see back here onto the video. Okay, in here, in the picture, is very difficult to see the pistil. Okay, so here we see how the flower opens. There's the pistil there. Okay, let's back a little bit out. All right, let's play that part again. So see here how the flowers are going to open, and you see the sepals opening up and letting the petals come out. Okay, the petals keep coming out, and there you see here the pistils, that this is the female part of the plant. Okay, so but you are the first. Oh, okay. Sorry, Sydney. It's very difficult online to tell by the names who's who here, so I totally and always apologize. Unless I hear your voice, okay, and I'm sure who you are, it's very difficult for that, so I apologize for that. So I'll try to remember, okay. So it is now here you see the female part of the plant, and this is where the pollen needs to fall into in order for the fruit to be pollinated. Okay, there you see also a better view, and you can tell how this part has an opening there, right in the middle, right where the mouse is. The stamens, as they open, you see how the microsporangium or the pollen starts coming out of the stamens. Okay? And then the idea is that wind or something, okay, some movement is going to move the pollen into the pistil in order to fertilize the flower. So as the flower gets, and that is the main job of bees and other insects, is to do that, to do the pollination there. Okay, so here we see how the flower, after a few days, it dies. And now see what happens here. See, we see that these are pair flowers. There's lots of flowers, and most of them are dying. Only one of these, in all this bunch of flowers, only one of them got pollinated and is developing a fruit. And so we are going to see how that moves on. You can see that the other flowers didn't get pollinated. And so if they don't get pollinated during a specific amount of time, they are not going to fertilize and they are going to dry away and die. And the one that is pollinated will grow the fruit, in this case, a beautiful pear. Okay, so and you can see how the fruit is growing inside the ovary of the plant. All right, so that is how fruits get pollinated. Beautiful video, really, very nice video of that. Okay, so let me show you this other website here. Okay, this website is linked in the lesson, and it explains some of the different types of fruits. And this one also is a link on the lesson. This one is very complete, and it divides the fruits into two types of fruits: fleshy fruits and dried fruits. And there's very different names, specialized names between one fruit and the other. So these are all technical terms that describe the type of fruit. Hold on a second. Okay. Whew. Yeah. All right. So for the lesson, I'm going to ask you to probably go to this website and then try to find different types of fruits and identify them and try to see which type do they belong to, right? So we have the dry fruits and seeds, and then the fleshy ones, okay, and they come in many different types, really. So it's very interesting. So the fleshy fruits, some are formed from a single flower, and some fleshy fruits are from groups of flowers. So Anna asked, so nuts are fruit? Yes. Yeah. So wait, an orange is a berry? Let's see what this website says. Okay, an orange is not a berry, it's a Hesperidium. All right. It is a berry, okay, in the sense, okay, let's go to the definition of a berry. A berry is a single fleshy fruit without a stone, usually containing a number of seeds, okay? So yeah, so a berry is a single fleshy fruit without a stone and contains a number of seeds. And so because of that, an orange, a lemon, grapefruit, and so on, they are considered to be berries, but they have a tough aromatic rind. Okay, so that is why they are called Hesperidium. All right, so it's a different type of berry. Okay, interestingly enough, a strawberry is not a berry. Okay, so yeah, the orange is like a lemon. Okay, and a strawberry is not a berry. It's a pseudocarp. It's a false fruit because it does not contain the seed. The seeds are achenes on the outside of a fleshy fruit. So in the strawberry, you see that the seeds are on the outside. Okay, so it's a false type of fruit. In the other ones, in the other berries, the seeds are inside the fruit. Isn't that interesting? So there's very different names for each one of the different types of fruits. I found that to be fascinating, really. Then we have a lot of fruits that are dry dehiscent, okay, fruits, and they are classified in follicles, legumes, lamentans, silkine, capsules, valvate capsules, and so on. Lots of different ones. And then you have the achene, a single-seeded dry dehiscent fruit in which the seed coat is not part of the fruit coat. Okay, and one of those cases is like the sunflower. So you are familiar with the sunflower and how the sunflower, really the seed, is a single seed, okay, and the seed coat is the tough part on the outside and is not part of the fruit coat. The fruit coat is what is inside, what is part of what we eat, okay. Then we have this one with a kind of a weird name, Cypsela, I think that is pronounced, and the main case is like the dandelion, and I imagine that you have all seen the dandelions, how they have kind of like a parachute that allows the seed to fly with the wind, and then at the tip it's the actual seed part. Mm-hmm. And then we have all the nuts. Mm-hmm. A single nut, like the chestnuts or acorns, hazel, hickory, a nutlet, okay? The salvia, the mint family have this type. Caryopsis is like the corn seed, and also grass, barley, oats, rice, rye, and wheat are all of this type. Anna is asking, can you eat all of these fruits? Well, some of them we can, okay. It really depends. Patrick says, I hate dandelions. Yes, So like the maple seed, can you eat the maple seed? I haven't, I've seen them, okay, but I've never tried them to eat them, okay. I try to stay kind of on the safe side of things. So I don't know that we can eat all these seeds, okay, and the fruits. So why do you think that we sometimes are able to eat, or animals are able to eat seeds of plants? What do you think is the main purpose for the plants to develop these fleshy fruits, okay, that contain the seed, and then we are able to eat that? What do you think that is the main purpose of the fruit developing, of the plant developing the fruit? what would be the main purpose of the plant to develop the fruit? And I said, so we can eat them. Okay, yeah, So the fleshy fruits, okay, that have, you know, sugars and everything are important in the diet of a lot of animals, including us, okay? But why do you think that the plant would want to have us eat the fruit? After all, is you know, they have to store a lot of sugar and water and juices in order to form this very nice fruit. Sydney says to keep the cycle going. What cycle? Samuel says to spread the seeds around. That is right. So the main purpose, very good, Samuel. The main purpose for the plants to develop this fruit is so animals, including us, would eat the fruit, okay? And then with the fruit, we eat the seeds. And most of the times, the animals cannot digest the seeds. They digest the fruit, but they cannot digest the seed. And so what do they do with the seed? It goes through the digestive system, okay? And it gets all the way out, and then it drops onto the ground and it fertilizes, okay? And then it germinates into a new plant somewhere else. So it is really a very, very important mechanism of the plant for transporting the seed to a new place. So that's the main purpose, really, of having a fruit, okay? In the case, for example, there of the dandelions, you see that the dandelions develop that type of seed, so the dandelion can actually fly with the wind and spread out. All right. In some cases, some of the plants develop seeds that actually animals can eat, and then they are stored, and they also, the animals transport them to other places and everything, and if they drop one, then the seed fertilizes and gets germinating into a new plant. The samara, these wing seeds, okay, and fruits, they also are able to fly, you know, with the wind, and then they get transported and so on. So that is basically the purpose for all these plants to produce fruit, right? So we see that there are really a lot of different types of fruits and ways on how the seeds get dispersed. Okay. All right, that's good. Let's go now to, do you have any questions so far? Let me put this on. Okay, can you see the camera? Okay. Can you see the camera on with me? Yes, okay. So I have here a little fruit, all right. I should have been able to bring more multiple types of fruits, but I'm going to let your imagination go through. So I have a Mandarin Orange, okay. It's a small type of, what type of fruit would this be? Let's go back to the other side. Okay, what type of fruit is this? Anna says it's a berry, it's a cutie orange, a berry, yeah, and what type of berry we were talking about? Okay, this is the type of berry, Hesperidium. Okay, Chas, excellent. Citrus. Nathan says a citrus. Yes, okay, Hesperidium. So a Hesperidium has a tough aromatic rind, let's go back to the camera here and see. Okay, yeah, you can smell the oils of the rind, and those oils are both protective and also to attract animals, okay, and protective of the fruit. And you see this is not to be eaten, but inside we have then all the different parts of the plant, of the fruit, okay. And this one, I think that is a seedless one, all right. Yeah. So what are seedless fruits? So this one doesn't have any seed, okay. What are seedless fruits? Do you have any idea why do plants would produce seedless fruits? Sydney says, yep, I can smell it right now. Yeah, it's very, very nice. Okay. So, so we have that plants produce fruit so they can produce seeds, and the seeds are so they can reproduce. Okay. Patrick says to make them more appealing to the animals of the area. You know, it's a genetic modification. Samuel says that it's a genetic modification. And Sydney asks the question, well, if they are seedless, then how do they grow more? Excellent question. So Samuel is right. So what happens is that through the process of mixing the pollen of different plants, okay, sometimes plants are able to develop into what is it called, the word? Oh, now I had it in my mind a second ago and then it went out. It's a hybrid plant, okay? So a hybrid plant is a plant where instead of having the pollen of the same plant mixed together in the pistil of that plant, is a different type of species, all right? And so the flower gets pollinated, but it gets pollinated by a foreign pollen, a pollen that is not of that same plant. So for example, you may have a cutie orange plant being fertilized by an orange pollen. So a pollen from a different plant still produces fruit, but it won't produce the seed. All right. And so the fruits of that type are hybrid, and that means that they cannot reproduce. They don't have really a seed. All right. And so how does the plant reproduce itself? Well, it cannot really reproduce itself. If the fruit doesn't have seed, they cannot reproduce itself. So the way that the hybrid plants get reproduced is actually a person needs to cut part of the plant and plant it somewhere else to make a different plant, okay? So they may cut a branch of the plant and then plant that, and the branch would develop some root system and everything, and then become a new hybrid plant, all right? So a lot of people do that in order to have hybrid fruit without a seed. It is, easier to eat, okay, because you don't need to deal with the seed. Okay, but the problem with the hybrid fruit is that it cannot reproduce. All right, so it is good in one sense and then bad in another. So there are a lot of plants now that they are produced that way as hybrid plants. Okay, let me see if we go here to Wikipedia and okay, hybrid in biology. Okay, in biology, a hybrid, also known as a crossbreed, is the result of mixing through sexual reproduction two animals or plants of different breeds, varieties, species of genera. Okay, so that is what a hybrid is. Okay, so let's see, hybrid plants. All right, many hybrids are created by humans, but natural hybrids occur as well. Plant species hybridize more readily than animal species. So the plants is actually more common to have hybrids because all that you need is wind or pollen from different plants, okay, to fertilize a plant. All right. Samuel says, I'm going to experiment with crossing pollen. All right. Yeah, you can do that. Mm-hmm. So for example, one time in our garden, my wife planted some watermelon and cantaloupe, okay? And she planted them kind of together, and the watermelon plant produced a hybrid between the watermelon and the cantaloupe that was kind of nor here or there, really. It looked kind of like a watermelon. When we opened it, it had the texture of a cantaloupe and it tasted horrible, really. So that wasn't a good thing, but it is a hybrid experiment, and that is how these hybrid plants happen. And so in the case here of the cuties, the seedless plants, they are made specifically so they don't have seeds and they can be sold that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool to see that happen. Okay, Sydney says, oh, I couldn't imagine eating a watermelon and a cantaloupe together. Well, that is kind of what I gave it a try. All right, it looked very weird, to tell you the truth. So it looked on the outside like a watermelon, but it was the size of a very large cantaloupe, and the inside was kind of like a yellowish reddish type of thing, and it didn't taste good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it wasn't totally, it was kind of orange inside. Yeah, it was kind of yellowish with streaks of red. So really, so you have to be careful of what you plant together. Okay. So see, interesting here in the article, we have some examples of hybrid plants. Okay, and it says a grapefruit is a hybrid between a pomelo and a Jamaican sweet orange. Okay, in Argentina we call them pomelos. All right, so I don't know what a pomelo is. I guess I thought that it was a what we call a grapefruit. Oh, all right, so the pomelo seems to be, this type of fruit. I've never seen this type of fruit. I've always seen the grapefruit. Okay. So I guess that all my life, actually, I was eating the hybrid type, not the pomelo. Okay. Mm-hmm. I really like grapefruit a lot. All right. Yes. All right. So In your garden projects, if you do some hybrids, okay, you can try that and then be careful, document what is the result. Sometimes you may be successful, sometimes you are not, okay. So if pollen of a very, very different species gets into the pistil of another flower, nothing will happen, okay. Sydney is asking, can you do a hybrid with flowers? Yes, of course. Of course you can. Yeah. Okay, so is this, oh, let me see. Patrick sends me a link. Okay, oh, I couldn't find that page. Let's see. Oh, because of the comma. Let me take the comma out and see if we can see that. All right, El Gordo, F1. You know, it kind of was like this, but it wasn't this nice looking inside. I tell you, if I remember correctly, it was like a kind of reddish, you know, so it had more watermelon than this one. Okay, so this seems to be, let's see, intermediate tolerance. This giant melon can be juicy or bragging rights of the larger melons. Okay, so yeah, so it was kind of like this, but it wasn't this nice looking inside. And the seeds, they didn't look like that cantaloupe seeds. They look actually like watermelon seeds. So this is a hybrid between two other things, I guess. Okay, mixed melon. All right. So there's different types of okay, so here you see different types of melons and how they look. So whenever you do a hybrid, you probably want to do hybrids of plants that are similar, of the same species. All right. So you don't, because if you try to pollinate a plant with pollen from a very different plant, it won't cross really. Okay. So one of the conditions for pollination to happen, do you remember when we were doing the lesson on oh, I'm really not feeling very well, but we'll march on. Do you remember when we were doing the lesson on DNA and on chromosomes, that we mentioned that different species of animals have different number of chromosomes? Okay. All right, Cindy, you sent me a link here, but I don't know that I can click on it. Okay, let me give it a try. But you remember when we were talking on the lesson on chromosomes that sometimes, let's see, copy that. Let's see, this is always kind of risky to do it this way, but we'll give it a try. Okay, yeah, this is kind of more of what it looked like. Thank you, Sydney, for checking on that. Yeah, so it wasn't very, very good looking at all. Okay, and if I remember correctly, it tasted kind of pretty bad, really. So you have to be careful on the crossover. So when we were talking about the chromosomes, we mentioned that different animal species have different number of chromosomes. For example, humans have 46 chromosomes. So the sperm of a human and the egg of a human have 23 chromosomes. Well, plants also have a specific number of chromosomes. Okay, and so the only plants that you can cross, that you can make a hybrid, are the plants that have the same number of chromosomes, okay? And so that is why plants of the same species you can cross, but plants of different species you really cannot cross, okay? So there we have the main idea and the lesson on seeds and fruits, okay? Now I'm going to invite Patrick to teach us about the gospel principle related to the lesson. So Patrick, take it up.
Okay. All right. I'm going to assume you guys hear me because every time I ask it's always a yes. So the gospel principle is our actions are the fruits that grow from our character. I just want to say it was really cool seeing that tomato cantaloupe thing. I thought that was really awesome. But it starts off by asking a question. Will the flowers on an apple tree produce watermelons, or will the flowers on a watermelon plant even ever grow apples? I obviously think that this is a no, and that's because, well, one, watermelons are on the ground, and two, apples are up in the sky, but that's beside the point.
Mm-hmm.
They grow through different plants, but
yeah. So in that case, technically, you can also say that they are such a different species of plants that they have different number of chromosomes.
Mm-hmm.
So you could never cross them. You could never even make a hybrid of those. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It says here that Jesus often taught lessons about the gospel using things in nature. In the New Testament, Jesus teaches us an important lesson using fruit. The things we have learned about seeds and the fruit that grow of brown seeds can help us better understand his message. I assume he's probably talking about you will know him by his fruits. But in Matthew chapter 7, the Savior concludes his Sermon on the Mount. He warns us that we must watch over for false teachers or teachers who are not teaching the truth. In verse 16, it tells us how we can know if a person is truly honest on the good and good inside, or if he's not. He says, "You shall know them by your fruits." I called it. How does Jesus say we can know if a person is honest by teaching them the truth? By their fruits. I can honestly say that I've noticed a lot from people, if they're not telling the truth, it eventually definitely catches up with them, and then they've got to live with that. So that's kind of like what happened with your watermelon. The watermelon and the cantaloupe weren't honestly apart, so they ended up having this bad fruit.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A waterlope or a cantamelon.
Yeah.
And Jesus also said that we can know what kind of character a person is by the fruit they produce. So, do people produce fruit? No. But do you think he's talking about apples or bananas or oranges? I'd say no. But we do produce the fruit of our lives, like what we do and how we do things and what our actions do. That could be a metaphorical fruit, I guess.
That's right. The things that we actually produce that we do, okay, that's our fruit. Mm-hmm.
And it says here that Jesus is not talking about fruits on a plant. The fruits he is talking about are our actions, the things we do. And if I hand you a seed and you do not know what kind of seed it is, how can you find out? Well, you'd plant it. I'd either plant it or I'd Google search it with image, but yeah. It's the same with people. We can know what kind of character qualities a person has by looking inside of his or her actions. In verse 16, Jesus also says, "Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles?" Well, we could probably gather some figs with thistles on them, but we cannot in real life now.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot pick grapes with thorns on them. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, grape means on a thorn plant, can you pick grapes from a thorn plant? You know,
No.
or from a thistle plant, can you pick figs? No, the only plant that produces figs is a fig tree. Okay.
Hmm.
Or the grape comes only from the grapevine, you know.
And just like grapevines will not produce thorns and fig trees will not produce thistles, a person with a kind heart will not be mean, and a person with an unkind heart cannot truly be kind. Let's continue reading the words of the Savior in verse 17 and 18. Before I do that, I'd like to say that is true. I mean, even if you start off as a nice person and you start doing things that aren't so great, eventually your actions are going to start affecting you on a deeper level, and you're going to start doing things that you wouldn't even think about doing back when you were a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes. The actions eventually catch up with our character.
hmm
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, even so, good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. So what does Jesus say about trees? He says that good trees will only bring forth good fruit, and bad trees will bring bad fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus wants us to know that our actions are based on who we are inside, on our character. Our character qualities are like seeds. A person who is honest within his or her heart will behave honestly. The seed of honesty directs the person's actions. For example, we know Bob has that seed of honesty in his or her heart. Let's pretend Bob finds my wallet on the couch. What would Bob most likely do with my wallet? Return it to me. Uh, what would
Eat it.
Bob take some money out before giving it to me? Why not? No, because Bob and I are really good friends, and Bob and I would definitely be trustworthy of each other.
Mm-hmm. You know, it is interesting. This example reminds me. My brother went on a trip, on a business trip to Japan. Okay, he and his wife, they were in Tokyo, and he was telling me that in Japan, honor and honesty are so highly valued that he felt that if he would lose his wallet anywhere in a train or in a hotel or anything, people would actually go way out of their way to find the person and return the wallet with everything in it. They would not keep anything,
Sounds
that
like a nice
was not
place.
there. Okay. And it was very
There's
interesting because it was kind of a character trait of the whole culture that he felt they had. What were you going to say? Mm-hmm.
there's a video out on YouTube called Blind Person Honesty Test, and this guy walks around. It's in British, so they have different types of money. He
Mm-hmm.
has a 5 quid and a 50 quid, and he walks around to like, hey, can I have change for a 5? He's not actually blind, but he pretends he is.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you would not believe how many people would just like take the 5, take the 50 instead of the 5 that he was
Oh.
holding, and would walk away. Luckily, he would catch up with them. But there were some people who were actually honest too, which was
Mm-hmm.
which was
Mm-hmm.
good. But yeah.
Yeah. So, it's in those times really when we think that no one is watching, okay, like in the case of the blind person, when our true character is revealed. That is, our actions really reveal our true character when no one is watching.
Mhm.
Okay, that is kind of the test. I remember listening to a quote of someone saying, the measure of a man's character is discovered when he has nothing to do. Okay, So the idea is basically when you don't have anything to do, when you have free time, okay, you are not doing anything, you are all on your own and so on, what do you do? What do you do in those times when you don't have anything to do?
You're asking me what I do for fun?
Well, you know, it's a question for everyone, really, okay? But that is one of the questions, you know, think about the last time when you had nothing to do, you know, you got home or something, no one was at home, okay? And you didn't have anything to do. What did you do in that time?
We got a puppy recently. I got her out and I pretty much had her in the TV room and I watched TV with the dog
Mm-hmm.
and I disciplined her when she started biting the furniture and me.
Yeah. Okay. So you see, the characters of ourselves are actually revealed most likely when we are in those situations. Okay. What are some things that, you know, so a lot of times, most of us, you know, when we are in that situation, would do something like that, you know, just watch TV or, you know, something like that. Okay. Natasha says, I would go and walk my dogs. All right. Excellent. So, what do you think of maybe doing the dishes, okay, or doing a
hmm
load of laundry? Okay, Justin says sleep. You know, that is very common for a lot of us. Okay, we just go to sleep. Would it be reading a book? What type of book would we pick to read? Okay,
Normally when I, yeah.
yeah. Would we choose when we don't have anything prompting us? Would we choose to read the scriptures? Okay. So that is kind of what I mean when I'm saying, you know, that our character is revealed in those times. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Hmm. Okay, keep going. You don't have
Uh,
to do this activity part. Hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
Each of you are developing good character. I can tell because I see it in your actions. I am trying to develop a Christ-like character too,
So
and I
these
can
are,
show the
yeah.
character trait by demonstrating that I have a good character trait. Yeah.
What would you describe? So Anna is asking, who said that quote? Oh, who said the quote that I mentioned? I don't remember. I'll have to find it and I'll get back to you. Okay. I owe you that one. So, what would you say would be a good character trait that describes you, Patrick?
Diligence.
Excellent. How can someone see that character trait in you?
Uh, I play the saxophone, and before a performance or before I do a solo or anything, I practice a lot before I even think about going up on stage and playing. So.
Ah, so it takes a lot of dedication and diligent practice in order to play an instrument well.
Mhm.
Yes. Uh-huh. Okay, excellent, excellent. What are some of the other qualities of character that you have that I'm asking to everyone in general, okay, to all the students in the class? You can pipe in on the mic or on the chat or on the question board. What would be a character trait that describes your character? Just like Patrick's is diligence. Okay. Someone says, I'm not going to say who, but says, I'm introvert. Okay, that is also a character trait. Okay. Samuel says, I'm creative. All right. All right, let's see. Anna says, cheerfulness, perhaps. I think someone could notice that in me because I smile a lot. Excellent, yes. So, cheerfulness. Cindy says, outgoing. Yes. So About being introvert or extrovert, okay, that is not necessarily, it's not that one is better than the other, all right? They are all also very good things for people that are introvert. Many times people that are introvert are more thoughtful. They can concentrate more, okay? Let's see, Natasha says friendly. Excellent. Sydney says that is what his friends tell him, that he's outgoing. Emily says, I'm trying to develop the attribute of endurance, holding firm to something and not giving up when things start to oppose me. Very, very good. Very quickly, I have to tell you, when I was, after I finished my bachelor's degree, I started graduate school and I started doing a doctoral degree. Okay, it took me 8 years to finish the doctoral degree. And it took a lot of endurance, really. And it's not an easy thing. You sign up to take a lot of courses and to study a lot, read a lot, produce a lot, write a lot of papers and everything. And so when I realized that one of the things that I needed was to develop more endurance, I decided I'm going to run a marathon. So I signed up for the St. George Marathon here in St. George, Utah. And I was able to run and prepare and complete the marathon. And that kind of was a way for me to say, I have endurance. I can do this PhD, okay? And so many times when you want to develop, okay, um, eh, I apologize, Sydney, again. Okay, I'm totally confused on that one. So when I want to develop a quality, a trait, many times you want to put yourself in a situation where you are kind of forced to have that trait. And then you are going to be able to develop that trait further. Does that make sense? So if you do something hard, then you will know that you can do hard things. So for example, you are completing this class online and all these classes this year. After you finish, you will be able to say, I can do this. I can do these classes. Okay, I can learn on my own. I can learn with others online and everything. That is a good thing that I can do. Okay, what do you think about that? Emmeline says about being introvert, she says, I agree. I don't think being introverted or extroverted is a weakness. I am a bit of an introvert on the introvert side, but I have no problem with talking to people and socializing. I just believe introverts just have a more reflective personality. That's not a weakness. I think it's more of a strength. Absolutely. Yeah. Mhm. Amen to that. And okay, and Emily also says, I remember hearing a saying, a bad day for your ego is a good day for your soul. Don't be afraid of messing up. We all made mistakes. Okay. And Sydney says, I am the same way in most things. Excellent. Good. Patrick, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Nope, I think you wrapped it up pretty good.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing. Okay, and thank you everyone for participating. Okay, and I need someone to volunteer for the closing prayer. Who would like to? I forgot to ask someone before. So who would like to do the closing prayer for us? Okay. Emmeline, do you have the microphone there? Okay, let me unmute you. Okay, go ahead.
Will do. Our dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day and for the opportunity that we had to gather together as a class. We would like to ask a special blessing on those who are previously not in attendance, that they may be able to join next week, and that we may be able to do our assignments and activities and be able to have Thy Spirit to be with us as we develop Christ-like attributes and get to know Thee and Thy Son. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for your participation and comments. And we'll be seeing you next week.